Hey everyone, welcome back to Sports the Nemo Way. Alex here to introduce our first ever Double Defender episode, where Wade and I will defend a pick together, and that pick is Tracy McGrady, both of us having him on our shooting guard list. I have McGrady at 41, and Wade has him at 42. So let's go over his career quickly so I can show why it is crazy to leave McGrady off your list. The 6'8", 210-pound shooting guard played for the Toronto Raptors, Orlando Magic, Houston Rockets, New York Knicks, Detroit Pistons, and Atlanta Hawks. Never winning a title or an MVP, he's a 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring champ, Most Improved Player award winner, playing 15 years in the league after being drafted 9th overall, and he is a Hall of Famer. With career averages of 19, 5, and 4 on 43% shooting. So now it's time for Wade and I to do work. Well, I'm going to go ahead and lead this off with some nice T-Mac stuff. I'm just going to get a few things out of the way. First things first, I'm an Orlando Magic fan. And my two favorite players all time are Penny Hardaway and, yes, you guessed it, T-Mac. So that being said, I know what the biggest knock on T-Mac is. He never got out of the first round of the playoffs. So he was labeled not a winner. But let's take a closer look at that. And how true is it really? During his Orlando and Houston days, which are really the only time of his career where he was healthy and good enough to carry a team, his playoff numbers are 29, 7, 6, 1, and 1. You going to try and tell me he wasn't performing?
Sounds good so far.
He wasn't winning.
So let's look at the team around him in Orlando. He played on a team that I think is a huge testament to him that they even made the playoffs. In his 4 years in Orlando, Pat Garrity was a starting power forward for the Orlando Magic. In those 4 years, his per-game stats are 9, 3, and 1. Andrew DeClercq played a key role during those same 4 years, starting over 50 games twice in those 4 years. His per-game stats during those 4 years are 3, 3, and .5. During that 4-year period, T-Mac's best teammate was Mike Miller, who only played 2.5 seasons of those 4 with T-Mac. He averaged 14, 4, and 2 during that time. How many players in history are going to be making deep playoff runs with that garbage?
What seed were they? Do you know? Like what?
They were the 8 seed most years.
8 seed, okay. That sounds about right.
Then came Houston, where he did play with Yao Ming. And during their time together, Yao Ming averaged 21, 9, and 1, by far his best teammate statistically. But in 3 of the 4 years they played together, by the time the playoffs rolled around, one of them was out for the season, didn't play with the other one. Now that I have showed you this, let's get a little bit more into some T-Mac feats. Like, T-Mac is 6th all-time in playoff box plus minus. So that means he balled out in the playoffs. Balled out. He has a higher playoff box plus minus than Magic Johnson, than Larry Bird. I'm just saying. In 2003, when the number 1 seed Detroit Pistons knocked Orlando out of the first round of the playoffs, so a 1 versus 8. This is a game 7. They took Detroit to 7 games. T-Mac scored 46 points on 61% shooting. But only 2 of his teammates could manage to score 5 points. One scored 5, which I believe was Andrew DeClercq, one of the previously mentioned players.
Andrew sounds like a baller.
And Sean Kemp scored 9.
Good old Sean Kim.
So again, T-Mac clearly failed there to perform in the playoffs. T-Mac is one of 29 players to score 60 points in a game. He's one of 15 to score 62 or more. Only 15 players in the history of the NBA have averaged 32 or more for a season, T-Mac being one of them. He's one of 10 players in history to win multiple scoring titles. He scored 13 points in 33 seconds to beat the Spurs. I know it's not a career achievement, but it's still badass. T-Mac is one of two players, just listen up here, to average 30 points a game in 4 straight playoffs. The only other person to do that, Michael Jordan. Then I'll get into, let's look at T-Mac compared to some of his peers, even some of his peers that I like. Like his cousin, Vince Carter. They played 25 times in their career. T-Mac won 15 of them, outscoring and out-rebounding him in those 25 contests. And then the legendary Kobe Bryant, who Kobe's teams usually came out on top because they were superior talent, but their duels are legendary. They have multiple duels that are on NBA Classics consistently, and which led Kobe to say that the toughest matchup of his entire career was Tracy McGrady, because he could do every single thing I could do on the court, only he was bigger than me. Just saying. T-Mac had more MVP votes in one season than Reggie Miller did for his entire career. And he did that twice.
Did he get MVP?
He's never won an MVP.
I think his highest was like 4th one year.
Okay, just checking.
Neither does Reggie, I'm just saying.
That's fine.
Speaking of Reggie Miller, T-Mac has 4 times the amount of 50-point games as Reggie Miller. And while Reggie played 451 more career games than T-Mac, T-Mac has more career rebounds and assists than him. Explain to me that. How was that even possible? Was he playing like with only his left hand or something? I don't get it. T-Mac gets hurt in year 9. And his back is never the same, but he continues to play for 6 more years. So let's compare some numbers after years 10 through 12 with guys you guys have on your list. So this is T-Mac after injury, and these guys not injured. T-Mac after year 10, 22, 6, 4, 1-1. Pete Maravich, 24, 4, 5, 1. Continue with Maravich here for a second. On year 11, T-Mac, 22, 6, 4, 1-1. Pete Maravich, not in the league anymore. Year 12, 22, 6, 4, 1-1. Pete Maravich, still not in the league anymore. Reggie Miller, 19, 3-3. 19, 3-3. Again. Ray Allen, 21, 4-4. Joe Dumars, 16, 2-4. T-Mac comes out on top on almost every single category, and all the years after his injury, when he's a shell of himself. So I'll end my initial argument there and let some guys respond before I continue, because I have a bunch more stuff.
What year are you looking at? Year 12?
Yeah, 12. 10, 11, and 12 is 3 years I looked at.
$21, 6, 15, and 6.
Maybe I misspoke. I said what their career numbers were after those years.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that or not.
Yeah, I mean he's got some impressive years. I'll give you that. He's also got a lot of shit years that you didn't talk about.
I mean, at the end of his career, after he didn't play very well. You're correct.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go through the criteria here. Best player on the finals team, Big X. Let's see. All defensive team. Any all defensive teams?
No.
Big X. League MVPs?
No.
Big X. Okay. So we're really scoring high here.
Okay, so all 3 of those things apply to your favorite player, Reggie Miller. So explain to me how he's like 20th on your list, and T-Mac can't be on your list because of those 3 things.
No, I didn't say he can be on my list. I'm just trying to figure out where your thought process is because, we have certain criteria here that we've been talking about. So I'm just trying to go through the list. I'm not trying to, get you all fired up there. Settle down before I get this tea and splash it on you and cool you off. I'm just saying, we're just going through the criteria here.
Whose criteria?
Well, that we've been, had in place.
You mean Wade's criteria?
Yeah, Wade.
That's Wade's criteria. We already debunked
If
that.
you have rings and if you're the best on your team, then you win those rings.
Oh, yeah, there's another one. Title wins.
0.
Okay.
I already covered all this.
Well, I'm just, trying to make thought of this. I'm trying to get it melted in my brain. So he has none of these.
Again, Reggie Miller has none of these, and he's ranked 20th on your
Okay,
list.
settle down there. Settle down.
I'm just interested in where you're going.
I don't know where I'm going yet, but we're going to figure it out. So we have none of these. Okay. Is he like top 100 of anything? Ooh, I got a spoiler there, guys.
I mean, like, you might have just stumped me out.
I think he's got around like 19,000 career points. I believe.
He's 74th in points.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's 247th in rebounds and 114th in assists.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Uncle Doug, because I didn't actually have that. So
okay. So, I mean, 74th in points, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's also 96th in made threes.
96, maybe. That's not too bad. Okay.
And that was before the 3-point boom.
Yeah.
Okay. Reggie's 3 in made threes.
So pretty much we are basing your pick off a favoritism and playoff prowess. Is what we're basing this off.
I think
Did you not listen to anything I said? Did you take your headphones off and not listen, or
No, I heard what you said. That he had some classic matchups against his cousin, and some classic matchups against Kobe Bryant, and he had some good performances on crap teams, which led to nowhere. So I'm very confused on what's going on here.
I understand what you were saying about the teams weren't great. That's why they didn't win the playoffs. The teams not being great is also why he did good in the playoffs. If he'd have had good teammates, he probably wouldn't have had those numbers.
Hold on. It was just a few episodes ago where you told me that Chris Bosh should have stayed in Toronto and played on a bad team so he could have put up better stats, so therefore you would have put him on your list. You can't go back and say, well, he should have played on a better team, made his stats worse.
No, that's not what I said. You're misquoting me. That's not what I said. I said his stats are better because he was on a bad team in the playoffs.
No,
I didn't say career stats. I said you were touting his stats in the playoffs as being so wonderful.
Yes, they were.
I'm saying they were good because he had nobody else to score. He had to do it.
Well, it wasn't just his scoring; it was his rebounding, his assists.
But you're talking about part of his career. We're not going to talk about just playoffs. Let's talk about the rest of his career.
Well, we can talk about the rest of his career.
Okay, let me finish then. Okay, I had Pete Maravich and Reggie Miller, my last two guys.
Right.
And you've been ripping on both of them.
Yes.
And that's fine. But I looked at all three of these guys because I had T-Mac high too because I like T-Mac.
Yes.
But if you look at averages, Pete beats him because he's got better numbers. 24-2 and 19-6. He outscores him. He out-assists him. He almost has as many rebounds.
Well,
only one rebound less. Okay? But he beats Reggie on averages. But he doesn't beat Reggie on totals. We were just talking about ranks and points. T-Mac is 74. Reggie Miller is 24. Okay? We're talking about assists. Okay, T-Mac's 114. Reggie's 116. But threes, T-Mac is 96. Reggie's number 3. That's what I got to looking at those things. I'm going, all right, back and forth. Averages, he's going to beat. All right, averages, he's going to beat Reggie. Totals, he might beat Pete because Pete had a shorter career. And we've talked again about shorter career, longer career. That's why I like to look at averages because you choose to play. If you choose to play, one of the guys we're going to be talking about soon is George Mikan.
Yes.
And his last career, his last season, they begged him to come back. And it was terrible. Mm-hmm. And it drags all his averages way down. You still got to live with it. I mean, that's what it is. Okay, so then I started looking at it. I said, all right, how am I going to decide between these three? So I started looking at what the experts say. So ESPN ranked T-Mac 52, Reggie 49. Okay, and they're all times. You can't really look at the NBA in 96 because Reggie and T-Mac weren't really around in 96. Of course, Pete was top 50 then. You look at Bleacher Report. Reggie's 43. T-Mac and Pistol both make honorable mention. Okay? You look at clutch points. None of them made it. But they do have Dolph Shays at 48 and Bob Pettit at 27.
There you go, Drew.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're saying is their list is flawed.
Well, some of these lists, I would agree,
No.
some of these lists are flawed.
Bob is better than T-Mac.
I looked at another one called Medium. Pete was on the list at 41. T-Mac at 38. They're about there together. Reggie was at 28. Bob Pettit was at 36. Okay, but this site also had Dirk Nowitzki ranked ahead of Tim Duncan. So I kind of discredit that one a little bit. So, but again, looking through some of the lists, I went with Reggie and Pete again because I wanted to get some of the old guys in there. But I do like T-Mac, and he was right there with me on the shooting guards. So that's it.
I got a little, because I think it was in the Pete Maravich episode. We talked a lot about either like peak value versus longevity, which is this is one of those scenarios I think again where Reggie's going to have the longevity, and T-Mac has the peak value. But I think one of the things the reason I put T-Mac on my list was his peak value is I think a lot higher than a lot of people I think like averaging. I mean, how many people can you think of that averaged? I mean, what? Low 30s and like 5 rebounds, 5-6 rebounds, 5-6 assists. That's all time great seasons.
He went 32, 6 and 5.
Yeah.
28, 6 and 5. 25, 6 and 5. Those are
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it was
8 and
just
5.
kind of a peak. His peak value is extremely high. Obviously, he doesn't have the longevity of like Reggie Miller, but I think that's averaging those. Well, now Uncle Doug is right. On a bad team, you're gonna have the ball and you're gonna be doing a lot of the shooting, but you still have to do it. And it's pretty 32 points, 5-6 rebounds, 5-6 assists is rare territory for me. So that's one of the reasons I put him at the bottom of my shooting guard list.
Well, to respond to some of the things you said, yes, I realize Reggie's much higher on the list because he played forever, and it's no joke that, like I just said, T-Mac got hurt in year 9 and was never the same player again. Which, you talked about Pistol Pete's stuff being better. If T-Mac would have quit after year 10, his numbers would be better than Pistol Pete's, and I just covered that. I'm just saying they both got injured almost the exact same time in their career, and Pete had to leave the league, and T-Mac stuck. He did stick around, and he did end up dragging his career numbers down. But their numbers are still comparable. He does average a few more points, but the rest of it's all still comparable. Like I think you said, T-Mac was 1 rebound ahead, and Pistol, and I don't remember which said about the assists.
Pete's ahead by an assist. T-Mac's ahead by a rebound.
Right. And Reggie was remarkably consistent for a long time, but he scored. That's it. Didn't do anything else. When you play almost 500 more games than somebody and have less assists and less rebounds for your career, that's just, I don't even know how you do that. Like I just said it earlier, like that boggled my mind. Like I was dumbfounded when I saw that. I don't know how. But
who were on those teams in Indiana with Reggie that was doing the rebounding?
The Davis boys.
Right, the Davis boys. There weren't too many rebounds for him to get.
And then you look at the assists. I mean, Jackson was throwing the assists along with Workman back before that. So, I mean, who you really got to pass to besides, Rick Smits and somebody passing you for the, corner J?
I mean, I put Reggie on my list. Reggie's on my list. I don't hate Reggie Miller. I'm just saying it's hard to put Reggie on your list and not have T-Mac on your list. Like, because his career for the first 12 years is far superior to Reggie Miller. It's not even really that close. For 12 years, we're not talking about 6 or 5, like Kawhi or you brought up Mikan. We're talking about 12 years. And then T-Max declined sharply after that. He stuck around for too many years on, Atlanta and Detroit and the Knicks. And then, unfortunately, he got really healthy in Detroit and played 72 games and, didn't do anything. So it, tanked his career numbers. But I did some more comparisons to some of these guys here. I took all the shooting guards from all of our lists, which totals to 15 guys. I ranked them all in the main stats, which when I mean points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, and turnovers. Yes, turnovers. And I ranked them 1 through 15, and where they all ranked. In points per game, I'm talking with career numbers, by the way, not highs or seasons.
Okay.
Career numbers. T-Mac is 10th. In rebounds, he's 4th. In assists, he's 10th. In steals, he's 9th. In blocks, he's 2nd. In field goal percentage, he is 13th, so he finally falls outside the top 10. In 3-point percentage, he's 7th. In free throw percentage, he's 15th, so again, he falls outside the top 10. And in turnovers, he's 5th. So he's in the top 10 and 7 of the 9 categories. Where, guys, Reggie only makes it in 4 categories. Dumar's in 5, Pistol in 5, Ray Allen in 4, Iverson in 3, Vince Carter in 4. He's outperforming all the guys we're talking about.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But, I mean, I really don't know because you're really only telling us about, certain, sample sizes of what he can do.
That's his whole career.
I know.
That's his career numbers. I didn't sample anything. It was his whole career. Even with all the shit years at the end. Because if I cherry pick and take his prime, he blows everybody but Kobe and Michael out of the water.
And James Harden.
Oh, and probably James Harden. You're probably right.
That's coming up in a minute.
I mean, if you want to sidestep stats, I had kind of a scenario in my head that is kind of interesting. Prime T-Mac, as far as like stats and ability and how they played, and Prime Kobe are very similar as far as stats wise. About 5-6 rebounds, 5-6 assists, around 30 points. If T-Mac plays with Shaq in his prime, does he get 3 championships like Kobe does?
Probably.
And if
Does
not,
Pistol
why not?
Pete?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I'm asking. I mean, yeah.
Are we in another what if?
Just scenario. I mean, where you go to play does affect your career. I mean, just a question. I mean, you can answer no. It's fine.
Well, I agree. Where you go to, because look at Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
He played in an expansion franchise, and the Hawks, where they didn't like the way he played.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but it's just where you end up does dictate how your career goes a lot of times. Scenarios and who you end up playing with or get coached by, or and T-Mac and Kobe were compared to each other in their primes, and one had Shaq and one did have Pat Garrity, as Alex said. So it is. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. They're very similar, extremely similar as far as ability, scoring ability. I mean, how they contribute in other ways. I think it's a possibility if T-Mac can stay healthy. He probably gets rings with Phil Jackson and Shaq and Derek Fisher and all those other rascals.
I mean, during the time that Kobe and Shaq were winning championships, T-Mac was healthy. He didn't get hurt till much later.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in that scenario, if he stays healthy, is he able to have similar success as Kobe, team-wise?
I mean, yeah, it's always possible. Yeah.
I mean, pretty much every guard that teamed up with Shaq had success. Maybe he doesn't win 3 championships. I don't know, but I mean, we saw Penny have success with them. Then we had Kobe had success with them. D Wade had success with them. Shaq takes an immense load off what you have to do, especially he was the most dominant player in basketball.
Yeah.
I don't even think that anybody here is going to deny that. Shaq was flat dominant for that period of time.
I think all those guys you listed outside of Penny, because he got hurt, are above T-Mac because of their team success. So if T-Mac plays with Shaq, does he have the same amount of team success? Just like D-Wade and Kobe, who are higher up on all of our lists. Because they played with Shaq and LeBron. I don't know. Just a thought.
I'll look at it this way. From 2000 to 2004, T-Mac's numbers are 28, 7, 5, 1 and 1. Kobe's numbers are 27, 6, 5 and 1 and a half. So T-Mac's numbers are better during that small portion of their careers, which is where Kobe won multiple championships. And then through 2000 to 2007, so I opened it back up through the Houston years. T-Mac's numbers are 27, 6, 5, 1 and 1, where Kobe's are 29, 5, 5, 1 and again a half. So again, very similar. T-Mac, when you look at his Orlando years, puts up slightly better numbers. When you open it up to a little bit bigger in the Houston years, their numbers are very comparable.
What would you say when you're comparing Kobe and T-Mac in those years that Kobe doesn't score as much because he's got Shaq down there with him, and T-Mac has no one with him?
Yeah.
So just the first part, yeah.
But then after Shaq leaves, Kobe and T-Mac pretty much doing the same thing, just jacking up 30 shots a game for crappy teams. Still putting up pretty similar stats.
All right, wait. I'm gonna tell you what I want to say.
And
now.
hold on, and then Kobe couldn't make the playoffs, and Kobe was barely making the playoffs and getting bounced in the first round until other stars showed up.
How many total playoff games does T-Mac have? You have that
I
one?
have no idea.
31.
31?
He was 19 and 31 in the playoffs.
19 and 31.
He was 19 and 31. Is that what you said? Oh.
So he has.
So that's that. I have 19 and 31 written down. 19 wins, 31 losses.
Oh, okay.
In 50 games.
I guess that's not bad, I guess.
During his prime, he made the playoffs every year. It was just he got bounced in the first round. I guess I should ask you guys: should his 8 seed Magic beat the 1 seed every year? Is that what we're saying he should have done? Should he have beat Detroit in the playoffs?
I don't think any of us said anything about the playoffs.
No.
You started the playoffs.
No, I did. That's the biggest knock on T-Mac. What I'm saying is
But it wasn't my biggest knock.
No, but what Wade just said was the difference between these two players is rings. And deep playoff runs. So if is that what we wanted him to do?
That would have been impressive, yeah.
Obviously it would have been hella impressive. Yeah.
Hella impressive.
Those guys, the two big knocks on T-Mac, which I think you've already stated, is obviously the playoffs and the longevity, probably. Which, so I think, probably what separates, we all have Kobe, obviously, at the top, probably number 2 at shooting guard.
I think all 5 of us have Kobe number 2 on shooting guard.
Obviously Michael. And then, D-Wade is probably in all of our top 3 or 4. And in my opinion, what separates them from T-Mac is they have more team success, and a little better. Well, Dwayne Wade got injured a lot, but they probably still had a little bit more longevity. But they all, like I did say, they did all play with Shaq and LeBron, and also that led to team success. I was just a thought. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. Where do you guys have Reggie ranked, actually?
I have him right below T-Mac.
Overall, or just on shooting guards?
No, overall.
I have Reggie.
I got Reggie at 46.
I have him at 49.
Okay.
47. Okay. All right, Wade, what I want to tell you was take T-Mac off your list and put Allen Iverson on.
Oh, yeah?
That's all I got to say.
Yeah? I have Iverson on.
Oh, yeah, I know. I got one for you.
Actually, I believe I have Iverson higher than T-Mac.
Oh, yeah, you do. I'm not saying that.
No
Well, here,
Iverson
let me
here.
put a math equation here.
Okay.
And this is totally
I'm going to tell you right now.
theoretical.
Math's not my strong suit, so.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now. 1 + 1 is 2,
Oh, God.
and we'll start from there. Other math classes, you're gonna have to pay and subscribe, and we'll come back on another time.
Right.
Actually, Alex, you have T-Mac ahead of Allen Iverson.
Yeah, I just seen that actually. Yeah, they're one ahead. They're one ahead of each other.
Okay, so if at some point Tracy McGrady wins a title, where did
Which
he
he's
shoot?
retired. He's retired though. So
Right.
He's not.
That's fine. What point of his career that he wins the title, where would he shoot up to? How would that differentiate, his, 46? Where would he go to if he jumped up and got a title?
You say Reggie or T-Mac?
T-Mac.
If T-Mac wins a title, where does he shoot up
Yeah,
to?
where do you shoot him up to?
I don't think he shoots. I mean, he's obviously probably shoots up a little. I mean, he's not going to obviously pass the top dogs by any means.
I mean, the top guys you're talking about. Mike has 6. Kobe has 5. D Wade has 3.
Is he maybe closer to like Ray Allen? I don't think I want to move him a lot. He'd probably stay pretty close to where he is.
Ray Allen's an interesting case because Ray Allen has team success, but as like a 3rd, 4th, 5th option. None of his success comes as him as a 1 or a 2.
But he does have the biggest shot in Miami Heat history.
He does. I'm not taking that away.
That is beneficial.
I was watching Laker videos the other day in the finals. He goes lights out in that one game.
Well, me and Alex talked about this on the phone one time. But he is tricky with Ray Allen. Not really just Ray Allen, but those Celtics teams. They all had defined roles and were really good at them. But can you really... Some people will lean towards Paul Pierce being the best player on that team. But they all had their own little lane that they stayed in and dominated at for that Celtics team that won a championship. Mm-hmm. I mean, KG was a defensive guy. Did help, he was the worst scorer of the big three. Pierce was a little bit better scorer than Ray Allen, but Ray Allen was obviously the shooter of the team. Took a lot of the clutch shots. Him and Pierce would kind of rotate. Ray Allen was an elite defender on those teams. Pierce was good though too, and obviously KG. So it's hard to figure out where those three rank on the team.
Ray Allen was an elite defender?
He was a really good defender. You don't think Ray Allen's a good defender?
No, I thought Ray Allen couldn't move laterally in most of his career.
When he was with the Heat, when he was an old man, they had him guarding the other team's best players sometimes.
Maybe I'm wrong on this. If I was going to say somebody on those Boston teams was an elite defender, I'd have gone KG.
I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year there. I mean, but Ray Allen's not going to guard a center. I was under the impression Ray Allen was a very good defender. Even as an old man, they would use him in little spots to give Dwayne Wade breaks and put him on some of the best players on the team.
Maybe I was wrong. I always remember Ray Allen as a bum on defense.
All right, Alex, I want to compare T-Mac to James Harden real quick for you because you don't have Harden on your list, do you?
I do not.
All right, well,
I got to stay out of this. I got Harden.
All right, well, let me
stay out of all of it.
All right, they kind of have. I think they're pretty similar players to each other. They haven't really had much. Harden has a little bit more playoff success than him. He has a little bit better than teams. T-Mac, I'll give him that.
A little bit.
Yeah,
we're talking about playing with like 3 Hall of Famers, but go on.
Still doesn't have a title though, but it's okay. James Harden has an MVP where T-Mac does not, and that was probably one of the years where he was not the best. His team was probably one of the worst that year. So he's got that right now. Harden has 25 points a game to T-Mac's 19, which may go down if Harden plays a long time. I'll say that. He has barely more rebounds than T-Mac. He has 2 more assists than T-Mac. He has another scoring champ that T-Mac does not have.
He has 3.
Yeah, James Harden has 3 scoring champs.
Assist title.
Mm-hmm. And James Harden's already 41st all-time in points, where T-Mac's 74th. And James Harden is also 49th all-time assists, while T-Mac is 114th. And also, James Harden has a better field goal percentage than T-Mac does.
Well, I will respond with trying not to give my James Harden argument up because I have a very, very strong James Harden argument, and part of it's because I can't stand James Harden. But James Harden is setting records for usage rate and comparing stats for guys like current not current as in this year, but last few years, Westbrook. They're better than Michael Jordan. They're better than LeBron James. Statistically, they're doing things that nobody's ever done ever. So, when I have the ball on every single play and I make every single decision for my team the entire game, it's unfair to compare it to anybody. Because we're talking about T-Mac on a bad team had the ball a lot. His usage rate isn't near what these guys are. T-Mac's top usage rate. This may not be exact because I'm not looking at it exactly, but I was just looking at it the other day. T-Mac's top usage rate season is like, and Harden has 4 or 5 seasons above that. Like I'm not dissing Harden and saying he's not talented because he is. His game irritates me. All the fake fouls, bullshit.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with you. That does bother me. He's not one of my favorite players.
His step back, he travels 99% of the time, and that
I'll
bothers me.
agree with that.
So there is a lot of like just disliking his game part of it to me, but he's a guy that's very hard to quantify what he's doing. Plus, I'll bring this up in the Harden argument. His playoff statistics are significantly lower than his regular season statistics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
T-Mac has 3 of the top 30 usage rate seasons of all time.
Yes.
And then Harden has a few more than that. So, yeah.
So I just want to throw James Harden out there because I see them as pretty similar players and stuff.
I mean, don't get me wrong. T-Mac missed playing with Dwight by 1 season. Like, we traded T-Mac in the offseason and drafted Dwight in that same offseason. So, we got very close to seeing T-Mac play with Dwight, which would have been cool. Now, McGrady's body may have broken down and it may not have worked. It did take Dwight. His rookie season, he was just all right. And then Dwight got a lot better. But anyway, my point being, he played with Dwight in his prime, Harden. He played with Russell Westbrook, who's also on Wade's list and yours.
No, he's not on my list.
Uncle Doug.
I got Russell on mine.
I knew 2 of you did. He also played with Chris Paul, who I believe made all 5 of our lists.
I think so.
And then he ran all 3 of them out of town.
Now he's playing with Katie and Kyrie.
And he got multiple coaches fired because he can't get along with anybody, apparently. So I don't want to name my whole James Harden argument, but that was some of the reasons I don't have James Harden on my list. But I do believe it is very hard to compare some of these guys to anybody statistically because like I said, statistically, over these last so many seasons he was in Houston, James Harden's raw numbers are the greatest ever. I mean, like, you're talking about a guy averaging 35 back-to-back seasons. Nobody does not have a Wilt.
Yeah. I think he's one of either the only player or one of only a couple to ever lead the league in scoring multiple times and lead the league in assists in different seasons.
I know Tiny Nate Archibald did it in the same season. He led the league in scoring and assists the same season. But other than that, I don't know. Anybody else do anything like that?
Might be Russell Westbrook. He might have a scoring title and an assist title. I'm guessing here, but he might.
Did he win a scoring title?
Yeah, he came close at least once, maybe.
I mean, I know he put up some huge numbers those last couple of years in OKC, but I couldn't remember if he won. Because Harden and Curry won scoring titles throughout there, so I didn't know if Westbrook snuck in there and got one.
I don't know.
Russell Westbrook has 2 scoring championships.
2? Okay, wow.
Nice.
No, he had 2.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Did he get an assist one too? I thought he got at least one.
He has 2 assist
There we
championships.
go. Okay, he's not twice.
Did any of them come in the same season?
Let me look. I gotta get into it.
Sorry.
No, they did not.
No, so, anyway, though, that's still rarefied air, though. I mean, but anyway, I guess what I'm saying is this is my problem with today's NBA. We've kind of danced around it in a few episodes, but we're doing things that's almost like a different sport now. We're literally giving the ball to some of these guys and saying you're either going to score, assist, or turn the ball over on this play, and nobody else is going to do anything else. Like, you're going to stand in the corner, or you're going to stand in the dunker spot and do nothing unless I hit you the ball, you're going to chuck it. I mean, that's literally what they did in Houston for, what, 5 years for Harden? 5-6 years? I mean, Capella or Dwight stand in the dunker spot, and the rest, 2 of you stand in the corner, and one of you stand on the wing, and I'm going to dribble for 20 seconds and then make a move in the last 4. I mean, but we've never allowed anybody to do that.
It's what analytics is doing to the game, because that's what analytics told them to do.
Yeah, threes and free throws and
Right.
layups.
That's what D'Antoni did with the Rockets. Now, some of these analytic numbers. Now, you may say you're not math's not your thing. Math is my thing.
Mhm.
I have a degree in math, so when we start talking about the analytics, I want to see how you calculate it, because if they're making assumptions, because some of the analytics I've looked at in baseball, they make assumptions before
Yes,
they do the calculations, and that's BS.
Yes, I agree.
Because if you're making assumptions, it ain't math anymore. Now you're talking it's English.
I like that.
Because, I mean, that's what it is. Because then you're saying, oh, if we assume this, then this calculates out. So, and I haven't dug into it. I need to look into some of the basketball analytics and see some of that stuff, because I'm not good on that. I have to look into it.
Here's my thing. The Rockets and the Harden stuff was analytics driven. And I'm doing parentheses in the air for those of you that can't see me. But so are the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
Which is drastically different.
Yeah, I'd like to know who was doing the analytics for each team.
Right. So one team is give the ball to one guy and he does absolutely everything, and the other team is completely team oriented, spread the ball around, pass the ball, move. Now they both still shoot a lot of threes.
Right.
They both still get, and if it's not a 3, it's a layup. They both still have that.
Mm-hmm.
But why did it become one player versus the team?
Right.
And by the way, the team with the team concept won the championships.
Yeah.
Over the guy that was playing by himself. Now, I'm not necessarily blaming Harden for not beating the loaded Golden State franchise, but I'm just saying analytics drove both of these things, and I don't see how the same analytics get you to both those places.
I agree.
Well, he's
And it's got to be something to do probably with the coaches, maybe with D'Antoni and Kerr.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Just different coaches with a different idea to how to get the same result. One, I'm gonna put the ball in my best player's hands, and so I have the best chance to get what I want. And the other one is use more of a team concept to get the 3 or the layup or the free throw. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't see it, and I don't know that he would hold up to it. But why? If Golden State did that, would they have succeeded? If Golden State would have just put the ball in Steph's hands and said, "Go 1-on-1 every play,"
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't
Absolutely
think
not.
so. No, I think Kerr had the right idea with the way he applied it.
I agree. Now, I changed the question a little bit. What if they do it with KD? What's the success level there?
I mean, I think KD's better than Curry and Harden. So, but I don't know if it holds
I
up.
agree. I think he's better than Curry and Harden. But do we? I mean, let's go down to the in the realm of what we see in sports media today. The 2 greatest players of all time. Everybody goes either Mike or LeBron. Well, everybody saw Mike except for maybe Drew, and he just watched The Last Dance.
I'm being educated on Michael.
But the premise of The Last Dance was Mike was doing some great things. He was doing some fantastic things. He was doing some historic things. But until he got his teammates involved, he didn't win.
Exactly.
But now we're pushing. It's not just James Harden. I'm not trying to say it is. We saw it with Westbrook. We even saw it with Kobe for a few years post Shaq, where it was just give him the ball all the time and see what he does. And they put up some crazy numbers, but they don't have a lot of success with that.
Iverson's whole career.
Oh yeah, exactly. Good example. Yeah, AI.
AI, again, a great player. I have him on my list. But he put up a bunch of empty stats. He was out there. He was out there balling, but
one of the greatest players, scoring wise and rebounding wise, Chamberlain. He didn't win that many titles because it was all running through.
Yeah.
He did later on when he did finally get his title with the Lakers. He had good, and I don't know who he played with for the 76ers. I don't remember. The one Philadelphia title he got.
Paul Larson.
Oh, that's right, Paul. Your man.
Will, I don't think was there when they won.
Really?
That was one of the.
Will won one in Philly,
'cause-
right?
He won one in Philly.
It wasn't
and
with Paul.
Larson won one in Philly. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
Paul.
may not
They
have
weren't
won.
together because that's how Paul was the best player on the team because Wilt was not there yet.
Oh, all right, got you.
Yeah.
Because
Because
the young guy.
he left to go to IBM to get way more money. Like three times his salary.
That's right. There's another guy though, Wilt. I don't know how many scoring titles he has, a bunch. Yeah. But he also has an assist title.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go back to me showing my age. I saw this on TikTok.
There we go.
It wasn't soon, but someone said, "Oh, Will, you suck at passing. Bet you can't do it." Next year, he won the assist title. So that's why I saw that.
You're right, but that's also part of the knock on Wilt Chamberlain is you let some joker make you so upset that you hurt your team and insisted on winning the assist title. Because to win the assist title, he would refuse to shoot for long periods of time. He would catch the ball, and nobody between him and the basket, all he had to do is dunk or lay it up, and he would turn and wait for a player to cut so he could get an assist. Like that's the type of player we're dealing with Will Chamberlain. Anyway, we're way off Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, we are.
That's a good conversation.
James Harden, Kevin Durant, Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, they're all on Team X level, right?
We'll get to talk about all of them.
Well, yeah, a year from now, we might start talking about some of these.
That's right.
Because we're on, what episode is this? I'm sorry.
Oh God.
14, maybe?
Sounds right. Somewhere in there.
I apologize for not knowing this. But, and we have 72 episodes of this topic, so, we have quite a ways to go. So I don't have really a ton more information on T-Mac.
Do you want us to give our summations and then you and Wade can close us out?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, Drew,
I've started, but do you pair with the people? Because just me and you guys. I still have Ray Allen and Reggie Miller on the list, so I don't really see any point comparing with you since you have them. So I picked James Harden. I just think James has better stuff than T-Mac. And nothing against T-Mac. I like him. I didn't really see him play that much, but one thing I didn't realize was I didn't know he was 6'8". I was really surprised when I saw that. I'm not gonna lie.
He actually played during your life, unlike some of these guys.
That's true, but I didn't see his peak value.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think
But yeah.
that's what his best season was. 02-03. So
Yeah, I wasn't around. But yeah, I don't know. He's closer than some of the other guys we talked about. I think he's getting closer, but I don't think he'd make my list.
I really don't have a problem with Tracy McGrady at all. And you guys keep comparing him to Reggie Miller. I think when it comes down to it, I think Reggie Miller's epic battles against the Knicks and some of his playoff runs are like higher on the scale than probably some of Tracy McGrady's playoff runs. So you might remember Reggie more than Tracy. And that's how I feel about that. Just saying. But I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit because I like Tracy McGrady. He paired up with his cousin, and they were a nice little duo for a while. And he got in Orlando. But I mean, I really don't remember Trace McGrady as much as I do other players. And maybe that's where I'm falling behind with you two. Maybe more with Alex here because he was on his favorite team.
Yeah, that's fair.
So maybe when we get to talking about Reggie Miller, he's on my favorite team, so he's going to be more, fluid in my brain than you two guys are. So, I mean, I think that's where I'm at with my argument, that I think I know Reggie Miller playing a little bit more than Tracy McGrady did. So.
Hello?
Yep. Well, again, I really like T-Mac. I would say that T-Mac was probably my number 11. I had him with Pistol Pete and Reggie. Part of what Ray said, I think, is really true. I saw Reggie Miller more. It's not that I like the Pacers better than I did any other. I just remember seeing him more. and the 3-point shooting. Reggie was an unbelievable 3-point shooter, and being number 3 all time in threes, that kind of weighed for me. Again, like I said earlier, I weighed one of them. The average was better. One, the totals were better. And I just went with Pistol and Reggie. But I do really like T-Mac.
Is this your opening argument or your closing argument, Wade?
I mean, you were yelling a lot. I stayed quiet in the corner.
You're supposed to be on my team for once.
Alex and I are just passionate.
One time when Wade really started talking,
We're good.
he was arguing with Alex, and I was just laughing over him. Like,
I
they're
have James Harden higher than T-Mac, so I couldn't sit there and diss James Harden. But anyway,
we're actually the only ones on the same team this time, and you still.
I did not argue against you hardly at all. You're fine. Jesus. Anyway, you know what? Fuck T-Mac. You can go.
That's right. Put AI on the list. AI.
Wade has a very strong feeling towards why AI shouldn't be on this list. So that'll be an interesting episode.
I almost dove into it when we started talking about him. I was like, we'll wait. Anyway, I'll actually make a closing statement. I think T-Mac's at the bottom of my shooting guard list. So, obviously, I don't have him anywhere near the big dogs, Jordan or Kobe or anybody like that. But I just thought, prime T-Mac was able to do some pretty crazy things that I don't think a lot of other players got to those heights. I think I brought it up earlier. If he gets the same opportunities as D Wade or Kobe, and he ends up with more team success, then we probably think of him a lot differently. But that's again playing the what if game. So to a certain extent, you can't really do that. But prime T-Mac I think is pretty unstoppable. Scoring titles and carrying some pretty terrible players to the playoffs. Pretty impressive. But that was just my opinion. That's why I ranked him above a few other guys at the bottom of my list. But yeah, pretty much it.
It's no secret. I've made it very clear today that T-Mac's one of my all-time favorite players. That being said, I'm not completely unrealistic with it. I don't think. I have T-Mac ranked in the 40s. It's not like I have him, way up on my list. Like Wade said, I don't have him up by Mike and Kobe, those guys. But personal opinion here, I think shooting guard is the weakest position of the 5 when we talk about make our list of 10. Because after I got through like 1 and 2, there's guys that I feel like should fall there. But then once you get past like 5 or 6, you're like, I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of guys that could go here, but not. Let's look at it this way. In Wade's Kawhi argument, like half the guys he was bashing to try and get Kawhi on the list, even though it didn't make sense, they didn't play the same position, were shooting guards. He was bashing Ray. He was bashing Reggie. He was bashing T-Mac. Like, those are all shooting guards because they do have weaker resumes. But nobody, flat out smacked my argument around right here. Uncle Doug said he's at 11 for him. But Ray said he liked him a lot. Drew said he liked him a lot. It's not like anybody was out here and let's go back to one of my past episodes. Y'all smacked Chris Bosh around pretty good.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
But
put Bosh in his
that didn't happen today. And I think part of that is a testament to just how weak the shooting guard position is. Not that I'm trying to bash on my guy T-Mac, because I love T-Mac. I'll go down with the ship with T-Mac. T-Mac's not leaving my list. But his peak, like Wade said, is as good or better than everybody's, including some of the top guys like MJ and Kobe. He does lose out on some longevity, although I do think his longevity issue is a little overblown. I tried to show that with the year 12 stuff. I do think, let's just put it this way. When we said, hey, if T-Mac wins one title, where does that vault him? And we started looking at the shooting guard list. There's a whole bunch of guys on all of our lists that don't have any titles.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys, including Jerry West, who only has one.
It's not just a shooting guards list. A bunch of other positions don't have titles either.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it was a interesting back and forth. Like I said, I still believe in my guy T Mac, and do I wish he would have, won titles or not hurt his back or played with superstars? Yes, one of the biggest what ifs of my life, being an Orlando Magic fan, is to go back to Ray's episode, is what if Grant Hill wasn't hurt,
Yes.
because they would have played together, because Grant's 4 years and T-Mac's 4 years are the same 4 years,
Yeah.
but Grant Hill was on the shelf not playing, and T-Mac was out there trying to ball all by himself. So maybe, again, this is a maybe, I'm not saying it changes anything, but maybe that changes the whole arc of this conversation if Grant Hill doesn't miss 4 years in Orlando, because I bet they didn't get bounced in the first round every time playing together.
True
They probably won't be the 8th seed every year either.
that. True that.
Very true, because we just talked about in the Grant Hill episode how Grant Hill was on a arc to be one of the greatest of all time. So maybe T-Mac is the second fiddle on those teams. I mean, that's very possible. So it would have been interesting, but needless to say, I think that's all I got for a closing statement. And I guess we'll move into our second segment for the episode, which is trivia.
Ooh.
So does anybody have a question ready right now?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get mine out of the way.
All right.
Let's see if I can. Okay. Which year? Everybody ready? Which year was Michael Jordan's signature shoe first released?
That's a tough one, Ray. I wasn't expecting shoe questions today.
Well, I wasn't either, but the Kindle app is not working correctly, so I have to go to a website.
This is going to be purely a guess because I have no idea.
All right.
I will explain to the guests today. We're doing this a little differently because we accused Drew of cheating too much and piggybacking off all our correct answers.
I
So-
really answered first at least in the last 3
Yeah,
episodes.
two out of his 26 points come. Come off first guesses. So I'll give him.
Half
I'll give him
time
that
when
credit.
I answer second, everyone says, "Oh yeah, I'll just go with that too." But I'm the only one that gets accused.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So we're now all writing down our answers, and then we're going to show them so that there is no piggybacking anymore. Regardless of who it is, we like to give Drew a hard time. So has everybody got their answers written down?
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
I
go
have
around.
mine as well.
87.
86. I said 92.
I also
92.
said 92.
The answer I have here says 84.
That was
Whoa.
the year he was drafted. Damn, I didn't think it would be that year.
Man. Nice.
All right, so no points that round, correct?
All right. Well, I like to do themes. So I went with this group. I went with threes. Ray's number 1. Steph's number 2. Reggie's number 3 on our all-time 3 list. Who is the all-time three-point shooter in the ABA?
Oh,
shit.
He's
Oh, gosh.
actually 188 on the NBA list, right behind Robert Horry. But he's number 1 on the ABA list.
Big shot. Let's go.
I don't.
I honestly don't even know if I have a guess. This is hard.
Oh my god.
I gotta guess.
I gotta guess too.
Yeah, that's a random. I was shot in the dark.
I was trying to think of someone who played in the ABA.
I got like 3 players that couldn't mind. I was like, oh shit.
We got 2 solid ones.
All right, does everybody get their answers now?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Start flipping them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Irvin.
Dr. J.
Gervin.
McGinnis.
It's actually Louis Dampier.
Okay.
So
He
some
played
guy I
for
don't
San
even know.
Antonio. Yeah.
I was on the same team, wasn't I?
Yeah. And but yeah, 188 on the NBA list, but number 1 on the ABA list.
I can do mine next.
Yeah, go for it.
Who is the Minnesota Timberwolves all-time assist leader?
Ooh,
All right.
I don't think I can even think of a point guard on Timberwolves.
Well, I have a guess. I feel like it's a strong guess. Whether I get it right or not,
I got a guess too.
I almost started to write down the answer.
I bet you get it right. Wade.
Yeah. If I got it wrong, I'm a dumbass. Okay, make sure I can see everybody. Everybody good?
Yep.
Flip them.
Ricky Rubio.
I also have Rubio.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
said Marbury.
Okay.
That's what I said. Mulberry.
It is Kevin Garnett.
What?
Whoa! Nice.
Yes. And not only does he have the record, but he beats number 2 by like 2,000 assists. I think number 2 is Ricky Rubio.
Wow.
Or something close to
Well,
that anyway.
I know Marbury's a big name, but he was only there for 2 seasons, so he probably wasn't going to.
I just remember Ricky
Because
Rubio
him
playing for
Because they traded him
Rubio
for
was pretty
Terrell to get Terrell Brandon, and then
he's
Terrell
all
Brandon
right
got
now.
hurt
How long wasn't Sam Cassell there too?
again, only for a couple years.
He's the other one I
Yeah.
thought of.
And KG would get you 5 assists a game when he played there for over 10 years. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, now that you said it, it made sense because I actually did a Sporkle quiz the other day, and I think Garnett is the career leader in every statistic in
Yeah.
Minnesota history.
Shocker.
Hmm.
Drew, you got one?
Yeah. What year did the Miami Heat become a team? Like, did they come into the
Ooh.
franchise? Not franchise, become a franchise in the NBA.
I think here.
That's rough. All right, I got a guess anyway. Nope, not a single person got a correct answer yet.
No one has.
This is rough, guys.
This is just going to be a pure guess. I have no clue.
Has everyone got an answer?
I think so.
Yep,
All right, flip them.
91.
91.
I put
I said-
89.
I said 98.
I said 90.
The correct answer is 88.
I was
Whoa.
1 year off. Well, they came in around the same time Orlando did. That's why I knew it was close. But I put an 89 instead of 88. Damn it.
You might still win the trivia, Drew, because no one's ever going to answer right
Yeah, I'm
again.
going to say I'm piggybacking. Well, it looks like no one's got anything right. That's
Yeah.
bullcrap.
Am I the only one left?
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right. I'm struggling here, guys. I apologize. I was spending my time writing answers now instead of looking at what I need to look at. All right. So, what college did Chris Paul attend?
I knew this. I just read it the other day, but I can't remember.
Everybody got an answer?
Well, it might be misspelled, but I got an
Yeah,
answer.
me too. Yep.
All right, flip them.
It says Marquette.
Marquette, okay.
I know.
UCLA.
I said Arkansas.
Wake Forest?
It is Wake
Damn
Forest.
it.
Damn.
So the only point of the day goes to Uncle Doug.
All right.
What a bad day. All right. So after today's 1 point, the scores are as follows. Ray has 11. Alex has 16. Doug has 20. Wade has 22. And Drew has 23. So Drew has the lead after that mighty scoring spree.
I'm not cheating, guys. We're figuring it out real fast.
So we appreciate your listening, guys. We're going to close shop for the day. Join us next week to discuss Dwight Howard, who will also be defended by myself, and Wade will sit over on the side.
Or maybe just Alex.
Yeah, maybe just me. Who
Well, you
knows?
got to shut up sometimes. So I can talk.
So anyway, like I said, we appreciate your listen. Please tune in next Thursday for Dwight Howard episode. I'm sure it'll be spirited because Dwight is a spirited talk for most people. But see you next week on Sports the Nemo Way.